Good morning, students, and I hope all of you are fine and safe at home. Today, we will study the eighth chapter in your geography textbooks. The name of the chapter is Introduction to Economics. You might be wondering what economics is all about. Well, before we begin with the chapter, let us get acquainted with some familiar terms that we need to understand. Income. What is income? Money comes from various sources. A person working in a factory will earn his income in the form of wages, or a person working in an office will earn his income in the form of salary, or a businessman gets his income in the form of profit. The amount of money that you earn is called as income. Expenditure. What is expenditure? The amount of money that you spend to buy things is called as expenditure. Budget. Budget is an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. Now, there are three scenarios as far as budget is concerned. Let us take the first scenario. Now, for example, if income is more and expenditure is less, then it is said to be a good kind of budget. Why good? Because you happen to save money here as your expenditure is less than your income. In the second scenario, we have where the money or the income is less, but your expenditure is more. Now, this is said to be a bad budget or a deficit budget because you have spent more than what money you have in hand. The red lines that you see here means that it's a deficit budget. So definitely you have either borrowed money from someone or you have taken a loan. In the third scenario, we have where income is equal to expenditure. That means how much you have spent, that much was your income. So we have a balanced budget here. So children, we have now understood what is income, expenditure and budget. So now open your textbooks to page number 64. Now on page number 64, you will see the list of estimated expenses for a particular month. Now let's go through this list. The first item on the list is your daily food, which amounts to 6,000 rupees. Buying of two sets of uniform, 2,000 rupees. School stationery, 500 rupees. Medical expenditure, 450 rupees. Recreation amounted to 500 rupees. Recreation here means the money that you spend for entertainment. For example, you have gone to a restaurant to have lunch or dinner, or you have gone to watch a movie in a movie theater. Those type of expenses are known as recreation expenses. Now your mobile bill amounted to rupees 1000 rupees, vegetables, fruits, etc. amounted to 1000 rupees, public transport 2600 rupees, electricity bill 1500 rupees, tourism. Tourism here means going on vacation, which costed you 4000 rupees. Bank installment 3000 rupees. Now they have said that the monthly income was only 20,000 rupees. Now, if you calculate all the expenses in the list, you will find that your total estimate expense for that month was 22,550 rupees. Now, if you deduct this expenditure from your income, you know that your expenditure was more than your income. So, you get a deficit amount here of 2,550 rupees. Now, they say that in order to strike a balance between your income and your expenditure, decide what will be your preferences for expenditure. So, students, I have prepared one more list here giving importance to the preferences. Now, certain items on the list you will find which are of utmost importance and without which you cannot do. For example, your food, expense, then buying two sets of uniforms, school stationery, medical. These are all expenses which are necessary. But now, if you observe the recreation expense, I have reduced it to 400 rupees from which was earlier 500 rupees. Why have I reduced that? Because recreation is a luxury, it is not a necessity. So that's the reason why I have reduced certain amount here. That even my telephones or mobile bills are a luxury item, I can definitely reduce that also. So I have reduced it to 750 rupees. Vegetables are a necessity, so I have not made any changes there. Now, public transport. If you observe, I have from 2600, I have brought it down to 2400 rupees. So I have deducted 200 rupees. Probably I will avoid going or traveling by a rickshaw, but I will always use bus and railway. So 200 rupees I have reduced here. Electricity bill, which is 1500 rupees. And now, if you observe, tourism expense I have nullified. I have not considered tourism expense at all. As I said, tourism is going for a vacation, and it is not necessary to go for vacation every month. I can go for a vacation either once a year or twice a year. So I have nullified the tourism expense. Bank installments remain the same. Now, if I add all these expenses which are listed here, my total expense comes to 18,000 rupees. Now, I will deduct this 18,000 rupees from the 2,000 income that I have. So, what do you observe here? You observe a savings of 2,000 rupees. So, students, what have we done here? We have done budgeting. Budgeting is very important as money has to be saved for future use. Saving is a healthy habit and it is necessary to make provisions for any emergency that may arise in future. Besides, you can use this saved amount of money for tourism in future. Now, after discussion on the above activity, you will realize that management of individual or family finances is mainly related to income and expenditure, that is economic factors. Now, this led to the birth of economics. Economics is an art of dealing with money. Now, the word economics comes from the Greek word oikonomia, which means family management. There is a lot of similarity between family management and economics. We understand from economics how to use time, money. Yes, children, time and money is very important resource here. Labor and land effectively. Now, how to satisfy this infinite needs of people using various resources is the study matter of economics. Now, infinite needs. What are infinite needs? Now, here I have just taken an example of basic needs. Now, basic needs here I have taken as food, clothes, shelter, and water. Yes, we cannot survive without food, clothes, shelter, or water. Now, according to the recent statistics of March 2020, you will observe that the entire world population is now 7.8 billion people. Now, considering this huge number, imagine the limited resources that we have to satisfy 7.8 billion people. Now, resources are limited, but needs are unlimited. Now, let us study the definition of economics by Lionel Robbins. The picture that you see here is of Lionel Robbins, and he says that economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Now, let me explain this with the help of this chart. Now, for example, an individual has unlimited wants, and the resources to satisfy this unlimited wants are very limited. Now, these unlimited wants are of varying importance, and the limited resources have alternative uses. Now, take for example milk, 1 liter of milk. Now, milk can be used to make curds. I can use milk to make faluda out of it. I can make kheer, or I can just add bonavita to it and consume it, or I can make milk pudding. So, you see here there are alternative uses of milk. Now, the problem of choice arises here. Now, I need to make the right choice here according to my unlimited wants. Now, this problem of making choice is a human behavior which leads to economics. So, let's look at the definition once again. Economics is a science which studies human behavior. What is this human behavior? Behavior of making choice as a relationship between what? Between the unlimited wants and the limited resources which have alternative uses. Now let me give you one more example. Take the example of money as a resource. Now money can be used, I can use money to save, or I can make jewelry out of the money that I have, or I can use that same money for educational purpose, or I can use that money to buy a house. Now I see that the resource of money is limited. I don't have it in abundance that I can buy all these things that I have shown here. So the question arises as to how do I utilize this resource of money in best possible manner so that I can get maximum benefit out of it. Now, as we see that all wants can never be satisfied. All wants are of unequal importance or of unequal urgency. Okay, therefore we have to make a choice as to which want is urgent and which want I will satisfy given the resource which has alternative uses. Now we will see here that there is never a balance between the limited resources that we have and the unlimited needs that we have. Now, as we manage the finances of our family, similarly, villages, cities, states, countries, and world also need to have economic management. Now, geographically speaking, the enterprises related to production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services in a specific region is called as economy. Now, what is economy? Economy is something where production, distribution, and consumption is involved. Now, on the global level, we have three types of economies: capitalistic economy, socialistic economy, and mixed economy. So students, we will study all these three types of economies one by one. So let's take the first economy, which is the capitalistic economy. Now in capitalistic economy, the ownership and management of means of production is in the hands of private individuals. For example, Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Honda, BMW, Mercedes Benz, these are all privately owned companies. Now, in this privately owned companies, the producer can produce whatever he wants, taking into the consideration the rules and regulations of that particular country. And his main aim will be to earn maximum profit. So if you see here, the companies are all high class or branded companies. So definitely they will cater to only a particular class of people wherein they can make maximum profit for what they have produced. So countries like Germany, Japan, and the United States have adopted such a type of economy. Now, the darkened blue portion on this map that you see are the other countries also who follow this type of capitalistic economy. Now, let's take the second economy, which is the socialistic economy. Now, socialistic economy is just the opposite of capitalistic economy. Now, here, the means of production belongs to the society as a whole, that is the government. The government is entirely control of the production in socialistic type of economy, and everything is manufactured by the government, and the government takes into consideration the social welfare of the people. So whatever is produced, he will produce taking into consideration the welfare of his people. Take the example of railways. Uh, Now even if the commonest or the poorest of man can travel by railway, so the government has made traveling very convenient, taking into consideration the social welfare of the people. Now China and Russia have adopted socialistic type of economy. Now, in socialistic type of economy, the government owns and operates the factors of production. The government will decide what will be produced, how it will be produced, and for whom it will be produced. For example, North Korea, Cuba, Laos, and China also follow the socialistic type of economy. The motive is to make sure that everything that people need is produced and that everyone gets what they need. Now let's take the third type of economy, which is the mixed economy. Now in mixed economy, there is a coexistence of private and public sectors. That means mixed economy is a blend of private and public sectors. Now, what is a private sector? Private sector is basically owned by businessmen. And what is a public sector? Public sector is basically owned by government. Now, for example, take airlines. Now, we have Air India, which is owned by the government, SpiceJet, Indigo, these are all privately owned airline companies. Take the example of phones, BSNL, MTNL, they are all government owned phone companies, whereas Airtel, Vodafone, Jio are all privately owned companies. Now, a balance between profit and social welfare is made in this type of economy. Now, in this economy is followed by India, Sweden, the United Kingdom. They have adopted this type of economy. So, students, with this we come to the end of part 1 of this lesson, and soon the part 2 of this lesson will follow. Thank you.